Get out of my way. Well, it's the coach. This is the 2018 season, and you've got it tuned to EA Sports. Coming up, bruising runner Leonard Fournette, fresh off 100 yards a week ago, as it'll be the New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With that, let's head over to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa for the call of this one. We bring in our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
We are just a few miles from the Gulf Coast of Florida at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And, Charles, you take a look at this Buccaneer ball club. The losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion to a victory in this one.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Saints, they've handled all comers through the first 3 months, a perfect 12-0.
Yeah, they're 3/4 of the way to a perfect season, and now's where it really starts to get into your mind. We'll see if it affects their play in any way.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out come the Bucs now for their first drive. Orchestrating the offense will be Case Keenum, the 6'1 QB out of the University of Houston.
Coming off of a loss their last time out, I think he's just seeking to make a bigger impact on the game. He threw a touchdown pass, didn't throw an interception. I think he just wants to jump those numbers up in terms of flinging it around and letting his receivers get into the end zone.
This man was a Saint for 3 years. It's Darren Sproles. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. A look there at what Sproles did a week ago. 14 carries, 64 yards.
And to me, the goal is the exact same thing as last week. Get him the ball early and often. I think he's got another big game in him in this one.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. And maybe they were coming with a blitz that time and it caused a jump.
I think if we saw it, you know that they saw it. Might have been a little discussion down there. Bad guys coming. Pick them up. Pick them up. And someone jumped.
They were looking good on second down, but now they're backed up 5 yards by the false start, and it's 2nd and 8. To throw, it's Keenum. This one complete, right side to McDonald. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there was a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And a peek now at the offense for Tampa Bay.
Let's focus outside on Demaryius Thomas. His numbers were down slightly last year. First time in the last 5 years he didn't top 1,000 yards. But this guy's been to 5 Pro Bowls. And when I think about the evolution of his career, from his time at Georgia Tech where they were running an option offense and he didn't catch much more than bombs, to now being a complete receiver, no reason in my mind to think he won't be over 1,000 yards again in the future.
That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. This is 3rd and 1. Very likely 4-down territory, even if they don't get it, though. They'll fake the give. Now Keenum. Throw left side complete. It's Cole. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. Well, they're piecing together a nice drive to start this one. Seems pretty scripted and pretty successful so far.
And I think they did it without our help. Because you remember when we sat in the production meeting with them to talk about this, and hey, you know, how you guys didn't come out of the gate? I know I offered my help with a few plays, and they didn't seem to want it.
I didn't offer mine.
You know, you were the smart one. Whatever they're doing, though, it's working really well.
I don't think it's a surprise they're throwing the football early. We expected that. They told us they were going to come out firing, but 4 for 4 on the opening drive. They like that.
They don't just like it. They love it because now everyone gets locked in. Confidence jumps up. Everyone's easy about what they're doing out there. And by the way, they're looking at the sideline thinking to themselves and expressing, let's keep throwing it. We're doing pretty well. Well, I know from past experience, before you actually play a game, you visualize what's going to happen. And I don't know anyone who doesn't visualize themselves being in the center of what's going on. That's 3 catches for him here in the early going. He's got to like the way this is started.
And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Bucs take the ball down the field and score on their opening drive. Building confidence after a loss, that's a good way to do it. The loss last game, but first drive here in this one, cashing it in for 6.
Hey, they can talk all they want about putting a loss behind them. I think that drive there did more than any conversation they had, don't you think?
That's exactly right. Puts that to bed. And this is what they said all week long. A lot of things they needed to do differently. But whatever they said appears to have worked. On 1st and 10, Locke. And Bryant's got it over the middle. And they'll get it all the way out near midfield to the 45. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Defense gives up a touchdown on the opening drive. Offense, you got to want to get out there and get those points back right now.
And that's a sharp throw there to get this drive off to a good start. On 1st down, it's Locke. This one grabbed by A.J. Green. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. The numbers for Green a week ago: 5 catches, 92 yards.
Look, I know everybody wants to be number 1 in everything they do, but he's number 2 in the league in receiving yards. That's a strong number, a strong year, and they want that to continue.
Here's Luck now on 2nd down. Green's got it over the middle. And he's brought down. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another 1st down. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
Well, that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. 12 yards on back-to-back plays there, and that's another 1st down. Luck going to bring him up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Here's Leonard Fournette, 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. And give him about 3 as he gets it down to the 22-yard line. And the Buffet boys, the O-line, hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
Hurry!
To throw on 2nd down is Luck. Under pressure, and down he goes. Luck is sacked. Calais Campbell in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. They were able to win last week despite him being sacked 4 times. They might need to tighten the reins a little bit, or this one may not end in another victory.
You're right about that. They can't count on just winning the game no matter what happens. They can't let the accumulation of hits and harassment in the pocket get to their quarterback. Got to stop that, give him clean lanes and throw the football in order to have a better chance to win again this week.
Looking for Green, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the rookie corner, Jair Alexander. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
They'll start out on the ground with Sproles. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. A gain of a yard gets them back where they started. Now it's 3rd and 10.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Brent Grimes. He just joined the double-digit party with that last pick. He now has 10 on the season.
And that takes a great amount of skill, study, a tad bit of luck. But bottom line, he's had a heck of a season.
After the interception, it's Love. Bryant with a catch right side. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. And the play goes for 19 yards, gives them a new set of downs. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. For a lot of people, MVP award means a quarterback award usually, but over 100 yards again last week. They're going to have to look his way more than once when giving out this award this season, I think.
Yeah, it's not just the consistency. It's been some plays that we've seen where we talk about it for weeks thereafter.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. A great effort there. His 26th touchdown, drawing even with Marshall Faulk for the 4th most in a single season. And the Saints are within an extra point of tying this thing up.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well-organized, well-coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now Case Keenum in the offense heading back onto the field. And he'll look to rebound from the early interception that led to 6 points the other way.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline, I guarantee his first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself, but he can't force things. And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Keenum. Screen pass to Sproles. And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. Now, that screen there on 2nd down certainly didn't develop how they had hoped. Is that one they should have even tried, or is that one the quarterback sticks in his pocket?
I think the latter. I like what you said there because trying it is one thing. We can second-guess just about every call. But in this case, when you realize it is broken down, just throw it at the feet of your intended receiver.
And down he goes. Keenum is sacked. William Hayes in there to get him. Sack number 14 for him on the year. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result?
Sack.
Quarterback gets hit.
Here's Thomas. Look at the spin.
Balance.
A good return there, 17 yards. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. Out comes the Saints offensive unit and the NFC playoff race. Let's have a look at it. And for them, it's no longer a question of will they make the playoffs. They've clinched the division title. The question, can they hold on to that number 1 seed?
And this is where the mental fortitude comes to play, doesn't it? Because now you're not just the coach talking about it, his team talking about it.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Tahir Whitehead in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
Pressure can come from all over when you're plotting a defensive strategy. On that particular play, it just came from the outside.
Now a play fake, and it's locked. Over the middle, complete. That's Bryant. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for third down. They've got a 3rd down and 5 to start things out. Luck now to throw. He's got his man here. It's Green. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. 3rd catch of this first half for him, and this one is a 1st down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Wrong.
Luck on 1st down. Complete to Bryant. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. Here's a give to Fournette. And he's brought down. That good for 19 and a 1st down.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive, and here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
From the red zone now, Locke. Dancing to his left. They'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
They brought the blitz that time, and I thought they were going to get to him, but instead, he flipped it on its ear and ended up picking up positive yardage.
I thought he was dead to rights, but you are exactly correct, sir, able to turn that into a positive gain. On 2nd down, here's Locke. This will be caught at about the 6. A 5-yard gain, and now they're set up 1st and goal.
Now, that's often a surprise for the defensive guys when they see the big fella slide out of the backfield and catch the ball. Not something they usually go over in practice very often.
They'll try and run for it with Fournette. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Well, Brandon, we always know that once you score 1 touchdown,
you're 2.
You're without a doubt. And so far today, he's got 1, but was denied as he tried to get the 2nd one.
Des Bryant from 4 yards out. And the Saints are able to cash in for 6. And with the rules as touchy as they can be, it's so hard to complete a diving catch in the end zone, but he just did it pretty well.
How about him getting his body, his hands, everything underneath and around the football without it hitting the ground and causing some doubt in the minds of the people who have to look at this and possibly review it. What a tremendous effort and a great catch.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that makes the score 14-7. Elliott now to kick this one away. A look at Darren Sproles as he works his way back onto the field for this next go-around. They've given him some touches. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground. Do you maybe keep going to that well, or do you mix it up more?
I think you mix it up more, try and loosen things up. Get the defense to
under a heavy rush, and down he goes. C.J. Mosley not dropping into coverage. He comes on the blitz and takes him down for a loss of 9. Well, for last week's performance, which was so good, he was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He got a lot of praise, and understandably so, from national media. Looking pretty good on that play, too.
And I love what he told us this week before the game. He talked about how much time they spend working on pass rush moves, every position, because anyone could go after the quarterback in their defense, and you can see how they've all absorbed their lessons. On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Trying to get it to Thomas, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the veteran Antoine Bethea. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line. He was trying to hit Thomas that time.
Well, it's 3rd and long, and you've got a few different ways to play it offensively. But this is not the type of offense that's going to wave the white flag. They're going to keep chucking it. And this time, it results in an interception.
On 1st down, Love. And down he goes. A Buccaneer sack. 4-time Pro Bowler Derek Johnson. And it'll be a 2nd and long.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Love. And the pressure gets to him again. Calais Campbell in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
So when you have good field position to start a drive and you give up back-to-back sacks, that can be demoralizing for a team.
3rd and long, it's Love. And that is incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And Tampa Bay trots out there now. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
To throw on 2nd down is Keenum. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Cole. And he'll get it up here this time to the 21. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Well, he's taken down, but not before picking up the first, thanks to a flashy little spin move. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
Well, that was big right there because they're in the bottom 5 in the league in converting on 3rd down. They needed that pickup in a big way.
There were 2 things they said they wanted to win in this game. One, the turnover battle, and the second, 3rd down conversions. So they got one there. Open man is Uzama. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. A gain of 6 there on 1st. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Here's Sproles. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Grady Jarrett with the tackle. And that's some good tackling there to keep him short of that yellow line.
Yeah, and defensively, all I'm thinking is that on that play, get me to 3rd down. Get me into a position where I can make one more play and get my defense off the field.
Keenum going to throw on 3rd and 1. On the left side, it's McDonald. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another 1st down.
Obviously, this has not been a banner game throwing the football. So what you got to do? You got to kind of down focus, don't you think? Find the tight end. Take some easier completions.
Yeah, interception last drive. There he hits the reliable target. They go play action here on first down. And he will be hit from behind and run over. Wow. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We'll come back to Tampa after this timeout. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll send you cross-state to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have all the stats and all the scores from games going on during another busy Sunday in the National Football League. Back to throw, Keenum throwing into traffic there, and that's complete. They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. Out of the gun, Keenum. Goes underneath for Sproles. No gain at all on the play there, and that brings up fourth. And now the Saints are going to take a timeout on defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Ryan Quigley now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. And a bit of a mistake there. This is well into the end zone for a touchback. Here is Andrew Luck, the focus of our player spotlight. He's playing pretty well. Now a first down throw. Luck escaping the pressure right. He's going to air it out deep for Green. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on at second down.
But one thing's for sure, when you got a big receiver and you trust him downfield, you're going to give him opportunities to go up and get that 50-50 ball.
And he is a darn good big receiver. Unfortunately, that time didn't work out. Nice job defensively. On 2nd and 10, Luck. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Jones. Yeah, they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
Here's Luck. Throw left side, taken in by Miller. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. A gain of 6 there on first. Again, Luck. Eluding the pressure. And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down. Jerry Hughes. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tahir Whitehead. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. After the interception, here's Keenum. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Cole. And he's brought down. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. So even though it's first down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. This will be from 56 yards out. And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. And that's the risk of the long field goal miss here at this stage of the second quarter. You give up great field position.
And that gives them one more opportunity to make something happen and something big. And we've seen crazy stuff happen at the end of halves.
The final shot before the break. Luck. He's going to air it out deep for Green. And this one is incomplete. So, well, who needs a halftime? Am I right? Let's resume play. Set now to go for the third quarter. The Saints have the lead and set to receive the kick. This is taken at the 3. A spin. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Now Love. And he's going to be grabbed and pulled down. Tahir Whitehead in there to get him. And that's sack number 6 for him on the year.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on second down. Throwing is Locke. Finding some room at midfield. Green with a catch left side. And finally brought down at the 43. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. What that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Here's Luck now on second down. It's caught by Bryant. And he's going to get this inside the 30. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
On 1st and 10, Locke. Tucked, and he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Dez Bryant with touchdown number 15 on the year and 2nd of the game. And the Saints now add 6 to their lead. A good, sustained drive there in this third quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
On the return, it's Jalen Marshall. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Here comes the Buccaneers offense. They get their first reps of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
And that's going to be incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. And that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down. They don't get the hook up there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple weeks.
Oh, that's the perfect word for it, precise, because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast offense either.
It's caught inside the 25 and all the way down to the 22-yard line. A big play for the Bucs there on third down. 48 yards. Well, it's one thing to grab it with one hand, but when you make a catch of that distance, quite another.
Yes, sir. I mean, that one right there, we keep talking about the high-flying antics that we're seeing from receivers nowadays. Doesn't matter what spot they start in, but when it actually does happen in the heat of battle, brings me right out of my seat. Early down stuff's to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
And once again, they go with Sproles. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up third.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
Throwing is Keenum on third down. And he finds McDonald. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Vance McDonald, his second touchdown on the season. And the Bucs have made this a one-score game.
It used to be that if you were a big wide receiver and the coaches wanted to make you a tight end, you resisted the move. Now it's almost a glamour position because they have the mismatch advantage. Are you going to cover them with a linebacker? They're probably faster. A defensive back? They're going to be bigger. Tight end is the new big-time position.
Out onto the field comes New Orleans. They were able to extend their lead with an opening drive touchdown here in the third quarter, but that just got matched a moment ago.
So we know that what they discussed at the half worked. Now, what are the counters to that, right? You don't just run the same things over.
And Luck will be intercepted for a third time. Picked up by Xavier Howard. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. Well, that's 3 picks he's now thrown in this game.
And I know this, the holiday season, because here we are in December. Right, it is the season of giving. Maybe for his own sake after the game, he may have to announce that he's donating certain amounts to charity for each interception that he threw.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. They'll wind up losing 3, and now it's third down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
I know every coach talks about respecting the ball, taking care of the ball, but when it's third and long like that, you're triggered, man. He wants to make a play. And on that one, he's trying to force one downfield to make that play. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, he tried to make the play. A little risky, but it fell incomplete. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And last time, 1-play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give him a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Again, it's Fournette. Nowhere to go that time. Might have gotten a yard up to the 25.
The best defensive linemen, they play with great leverage so they can get low and not get bowled over by offensive linemen. They have excellent hands. They can throw people off on a play. We just saw a great example of a really good run stop by a guy playing the defensive tackle position.
The Saints on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This will be 3rd and 5. Here's Locke. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the safety, Kenny Vaccaro. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the 2nd week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. And here he'll get it down to the 7. 6 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really...
And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by the veteran Antoine Bethea.
I tell you, Brandon, it seems like this guy's been all over the field so far. That's his 2nd interception of the game. And so much of playing defense in the NFL, especially when it comes to defending the pass, is all about positioning and technique. And this is fantastic work on both fronts there.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Got some real estate inside the 30. And he's going to get it all the way down to the 10-yard line. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a 1st down.
Well, to me, this leads to the question, do you admire the way he puts his body out there all the time, or do you think he should protect himself a little bit more?
Well, he's been on the ground several times with all those sacks that he's taken. So, I don't know. I kind of admire him not sliding down there, don't you?
I'm with you on that one. The meter definitely leans towards admiration.
Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on 1st down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on 1st down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
He'll get it up the middle. He lost 4 there, and it's 3rd down. He already has 2 sacks to his credit. Now another tackle for loss.
And you know how you can always identify who was supposed to block him? They're the ones helping up the person who just got knocked to the ground with the ball, right? Whether it's a running play or a pass play, they've got to figure out a way to slow him down. Maybe you chip him with a 2nd guy. Maybe you just out-and-out double him. Maybe you make sure you take the ball and throw it as far away from him as possible, because right now he is wrecking things for them.
Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high-percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
They had it 1st and goal. 3 attempts, couldn't get it in, so they settle for 3.
Yeah, the field tends to shrink a little bit the closer you get to the goal line, doesn't it? It doesn't sound right. It sounds a little counterintuitive. But you run out of space to run the deep routes, so they can just sit on the shorter stuff if you're going to throw it. If you want to run it, there's just not as much space. They end up having to take 3 there.
Now Case Keenum in the offense heading back onto the field. And he comes out on the heels of an interception he threw last time they had the ball.
Yeah, and you know, the quarterbacks that I know that are the best ones, the ones that really know how to lead their team, they tell them, that's on me. That's my bad. But let's go back out there and move ahead again, guys. We can get this done.
One good thing for him, it did only lead to 3 points and not a touchdown after that turnover.
Big thanks to the defense. I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Here's Keenum now on 2nd down. Looking left sideline, but it's incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and 5.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
The Bucs on 3rd down. They've hit on half of them, 5 for 10. This will be 3rd and 5. Working from the gun, Keenum. A dump off to Sproles. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll be 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And now the Saints get set to trot out there. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point
kick. A big seam, and he might go all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans. That's 3 touchdown passes now for Andrew Luck. And the Saints add on to their lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Elliott now to kick this one away. Marshall now, the return. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Here's a handoff to Sproles to start the drive. Not much room here as he only gets it to about the 30. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How'd they done? Back now in Tampa. It's Buccaneer football, but they've got work to do. They find themselves behind here to start the 4th quarter. To throw on 2nd down is Keenum. Screen pass to Sproles. And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. A critical one here if they're going to have any shot at this thing. So they'll go for it on 4th down. Now Keenum got to have this one. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the linebacker, C.J. Mosley. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line. That's now his 2nd interception in as many weeks from his linebacker position.
And think about all the different techniques he has to employ in a passing situation. Is he spot dropping because it's zone? Is he picking up man-to-man? Is he having to run with a running back or a tight end? In any event, great eyes, head on a swivel, and excellent hands.
Yeah, versatility and showing those hands. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
They keep it with Fournette on 1st down. Flash the stick skills on that run, but then stop shy of the 35. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
On 2nd down, here's Fournette. They find some open field here. And he'll go down at the 28. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Luck on first down. Flushed out right. Going for... And my goodness, another interception. A great read, and it's picked off. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
On second down, here's Keenum. Looking deep downfield. And he's unable to grab it. Thought he might have had position, couldn't hold on, third down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
And this is going to be incomplete.
Brandon, at least there's one bright side to that incompletion.
What's that?
It wasn't an interception.
Wow. You're a nice guy. That was kind of savage. But correct. No pick, just incomplete that time. Returnable for Thomas. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. A good starting spot for the Saints as they come up 1st and 10. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And they're able to get this one down to the 25. Give him 30 yards there. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Fournette, a first down carry. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
I know the game's not over, but there's got to be a sense of satisfaction right now for the guy carrying the football a bunch today. 99 yards, and he has enough time to go over the century mark.
Well, you got to give it to him again, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You're not worried about losing yardage here. You're not worried about any of that. You just want to get him to the promised land for every runner. 100 yards or more in a game.
Fournette, first down, still going. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
Well, we're beyond the tone setting right now. This guy's been the bell cow all day, and they'll continue to rely on him to move the chains, drain the clock, and lead his team.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll bring up a 2nd and goal. They come out here in the eye. Now it's Luck. Flush to his right. And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. A.J. Green hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Saints now add 6 to their lead. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Elliott now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. With the Bucs offense making their way back out on the field, let's take a look at the playoff picture, Charles, coming into the weekend in the NFC. And I tell you, 4 weeks still to go, and everything is wide open, and it's fun.
And I know we always talk about, well, if the playoffs were to begin today, and then we kind of go, okay, but they're not. Let's see how it plays out. Wouldn't it be fun to play with this playoff lineup right now? Because to me, just about anyone can win this whole thing out of this grouping we currently have. And by the time we get there, it may look entirely different.
Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
Keenum to throw on second down. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Now Keenum. Over the middle, complete. That's Cole. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. 7 yards on the quick slant and a first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Goes underneath for Sproles. It'll be a pickup of just 2, and that'll make it a second down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
It's caught inside the 25. And he'll be down deep into New Orleans territory. It's a big play there for the Buccaneers. And even 40 yards. So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. From the red zone, it's Keenum. And nearly another interception. They've been around the ball all game.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Sproles so quick and agile. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 9 yards on the pickup there as they'll be left with 3rd and 1.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
Again, they'll run it. Again, it's Sproles. But he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. They only got 2, but that was enough as they'll convert to make it 1st and goal. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. Sproles. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Buccaneer football as we welcome you back. They've got it 2nd and goal as they look for a late touchdown. And now they'll throw with Keenum. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down.
That was a nice catch, but unable to stay in bounds. And remember, it wasn't a wide receiver who works on that all the time.
I was going to say, he likes to get the ball handed to him. Now, don't get me wrong. He's part of the passing game as well, but maybe a little out of his comfort zone there.
Yeah, he might want to have a few words to say to us about that later, but I am still going with you on that one. Wide receivers work on a little bit more.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. I think this defense tired of seeing him run the football, and this D-line probably getting sick of the O-line as well.
And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking about a conversation I had with Adam Gase, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins in the offseason. He told me that he asked his running backs each week for their favorite runs. Give me your 3 top runs. And right now, you're seeing a guy that's probably using his top runs to great advantage in this game.
He is in a zone. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Zach Miller, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Saints add on to their lead. And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that is leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now because they see them coming and think, we've got no shot to beat this team.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he is out of bounds here on the return. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, Coach, what do you want to call? He just waved a hand like, who cares? Let's get out here and do something some other time. But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Now Keenum throwing on second. And now here is another interception. Picked off by Vontae Davis. Thomas, the intended target. The interception woes, they just continue to mount. He's thrown 5 picks. At this point, you got to be thinking, is it something between the ears?
I think a confidence hit does occur once you start getting those numbers up there a little bit. But as you and I both know, it's not always just one guy's fault. Maybe somebody ran a wrong pattern. Maybe some balls were tipped. It could be so many different things. Bottom line, though, it comes back to the guy throwing them.
This will be caught inside the 10. And he carries this one all the way down to the 9. And a nice gain of 21 yards. Throwing now, Luck. The quick slant caught. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. I tell you, Charles, you play to the final whistle, I get that, but there are a few folks that might not be too happy with that score late in the game with it already well in hand.
You seem a little squeamish about that last score.
I struggle with this one. I struggle. But on the argument, I get it, on the other side is, hey, do something about it. Stop them.
I'll guarantee you, I know who was really excited. Fantasy owners who had them. Hey, listen, get the points for me. They're not worried about hurt feelings or anything like that. That's just new age stuff.
Now the Buccaneers offensive unit back out on the field. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo
exactly.
going forward.
Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
One final try now for Keenum. And that will be incomplete, as time has run out on this football game. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory, and the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week, we'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points, allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for the Saints, the streak lives as they move to 13-0 now on the year. And they'll have another road date next week with the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, for Tampa Bay, any slim hopes they had at a playoff berth gone now as they drop to 4-9. And they'll be on the road next week for a matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.